Revelation chapter 8, verse 7. The first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down upon the earth. A third of the earth was burned out. A third of the tree was burned out, and all the green grass was burned out. Brother and sister, let us see.
Destructive forest fires have engulfed the provinces of Sichuan and Yunnan in southern China. On March 15th, around 5 p.m., a forest fire broke out in the Yajiang County of the Gars Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture in Sichuan Province. By daytime on March 16th, due to sudden strong winds, the fire quickly spread to the northeast, crossing several mountain ranges and forming 3 fire centers. The sky was filled with thick smoke, and a large amount of ash was carried by the wind. The smoke was so dense that it spread hundreds of miles from the fire site. A resident of the capital of Sichuan Province, Chengdu, located 311 miles away from the incident, reported that on Saturday, forest fires turned the sky orange. The sky in Chengdu suddenly turned frighteningly orange. It was like scenes from an apocalyptic disaster movie. At first, I thought it was a rare sandstorm from the north, before watching the news on television about the huge forest fire in Yajiang County. More than 1,000 firefighters and 7 helicopters were mobilized to fight the forest fires. Authorities initiated an emergency response plan. By evening the same day, rescue operations were forcibly halted due to strong winds and poor visibility. Firefighting efforts resumed on Sunday morning, March 17th. The fire on the mountain slopes forced Tibetans from around a dozen villages to evacuate their homes. According to official data, approximately 4,900 local residents were evacuated from the Yajiang County, Gars Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture. As a result of the fire, about 30 houses in several villages were completely destroyed. State media reported that authorities temporarily closed a highway passing through the region, and communication with a hydroelectric power station was disrupted. According to the Global Wildfire Information System, the total area affected by forest fires in just Yajiang County exceeds 24,700 acres. As of 6 a.m. on March 19th, all open fires in one of the 3 fire centers had been extinguished, while firefighting continued in the other 2 zones. In Yunnan Province, a forest fire also broke out on March 16th. Thanks to the efforts of firefighters and residents, the fire was extinguished by the end of the same day. The fire had burned about 2 acres. Unfortunately, 3 people assisting firefighters in the village of Kwaniai and Linsong were killed during the extinguishing process, and another was injured and sent to the hospital. Another person died in a mountain fire in Washan City. On March 18th, another forest fire broke out in Yinbi County, Yunnan Province. To quickly extinguish the open flames, more than 850 people were involved. The fire was extinguished the next day. Fortunately, this time there were no casualties. Since December of the previous year, Yunnan and Sichuan provinces have been experiencing unseasonably dry weather. According to official data, Yunnan has experienced its most severe drought since observations began in 1961. In Sichuan province, rainfall has been 16% below normal, and the average temperature has been 1.2 degrees higher than in previous years. These factors, combined with strong winds, create ideal conditions for the occurrence and rapid spread of fires, which are very difficult to extinguish. In recent years, dangerous forest fires have been escalating not only in China but also in practically all countries worldwide. For more information on what is happening to our planet and how it will affect our future in the coming years, see the global crisis. In Western Canada, firefighters are battling the first major wildfires of 2024. Unseasonably high temperatures and ongoing drought have dried out the forests, fueling the spread of the fires. According to the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Center, Over 130 fires are burning across Canada, with 40 considered out of control. Dangerous wildfires have scorched tens of thousands of acres of land and are approaching several Canadian towns, forcing thousands of people to evacuate and worsening air quality. New fires are igniting daily, and dormant, zombie fires are re-emerging. Gusty winds have caused the Parker Lake fire in northeastern British Columbia to grow from 13,000 acres on Monday to nearly 21,000 acres on Tuesday. The fire, located just over a mile west of Fort Nelson, erupted early Tuesday morning. At least 4,700 people are under evacuation orders, including those in Fort Nelson and Fort Nelson First Nation. No casualties or injuries have been reported.
This is just so brutal. It's scary that the smoke is here so early as well. And yes, you know what? Climate change is real. It's affecting us all.
Major wildfires have also prompted evacuation orders in Manitoba and alerts in Alberta.
Extremely smoky in a very short period of time. It is kind of wild.
In Manitoba, a fire has burned over 86,000 acres of land as of Monday. Over 500 residents of Cranberry Portage, located less than a mile from the fire, have been evacuated.
So there is another fire outside of Fort Mac, 25 kilometers southwest of Fort Mac, 50 hectares.
A large fire about 10 miles southwest of Fort McMurray in northeastern Alberta, an area devastated by a wildfire in 2016, has covered over 23,000 acres of land as of Tuesday after significantly expanding overnight.
Tapos maririnig mo pa yung yung mga helicopter, yung mga water bomber. Yan, ngayon Tuesday ng umaga.
According to Saint-Onge, due to challenging weather and fire conditions, firefighters have been pulled off the fire line, but crews are working to fight the flames with air support. After damaging fiber optic cables, some communities are experiencing complete communication loss. On Friday, residents of Yukon Territory found themselves without internet access, cellular service disappeared, most ATMs stopped working, and residents began running out of cash. city authorities warned that they were unable to call police, ambulance, or fire services, leading to widespread chaos. As smoke from the fires blankets the country, dangerous smoke plumes have spread across Canada and the United States. According to the Blue Sky Canada Smoke Forecast website, smoke from forest fires is polluting the skies over northern British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and the southern Northwest Territories.
Okay, I think we are through the worst of it.
Okay, strapping everything down. You've got.
Hey,
It's okay. They're blocking it coming north.
On Sunday, smoke from Canadian fires spread southward into Montana, North and South Dakota, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, prompting health advisories. Poor air quality was observed Tuesday morning from the Dakotas to Kansas. The central United States will remain shrouded in smoke from Canada at least until midweek. Research shows that wildfire seasons in North America are getting longer. According to the British Columbia Wildfire Service, last year was Canada's most destructive wildfire season on record, including in British Columbia, where fires destroyed hundreds of homes and an area the size of Maryland. The increasing frequency of catastrophes over the last decade is shocking. Such has never been seen before in our entire history of observation. Unfortunately, these disasters will soon affect every inhabitant of our planet. And the cause of these climate disasters is cyclical external cosmic influence. More information on how we can stop the climate collapse is discussed at the Global Crisis.
shift our focus now. Wildfires sweeping through central Chile have killed at least 112 people. Hundreds are still missing. Entire neighborhoods have been scorched and homes burnt out. Thousands of residents have been left with no choice but to, of course, evacuate their homes. At least 92 fires have engulfed Chile, and less than half of them have been brought under control. They've burned more than 64,000 acres across the central and southern regions of the country. The wildfires, these began several days ago and have severely impacted the two coastal cities popular among tourists. That's Vina del Mar and Valparaiso. The cities account for more than 1 million residents. From one moment to the next, the fire reached the botanical park. In 10 minutes, the fire was already on us. There was smoke. The sky turned black. Everything was dark. The wind felt like a hurricane. It was like being in hell. Thousands of firefighters, military personnel, and volunteers are trying to combat the flames. Chile is battling an intense summer heat wave with temperatures soaring to 40 degrees Celsius. President Gabriel Boric has warned that the country is facing a tragedy of great magnitude. After he flew over the affected area, he declared a state of emergency and has pledged government support to help people get back on their feet.
I want to communicate that I have decreed a national mourning for 2 days, starting February the 5th, because it's Chile as a whole that is suffering and crying for our deceased.
Now, this is the country's deadliest disaster since an earthquake and tsunami in 2010. Scientists continue to warn that a warming planet, it's increased the risk of natural disasters, such as intense heat and fires. The rising temperatures now threaten to engulf more of the continent, as brigades in Argentina have also been fighting a fire since the 25th of January.
On the evening of March 16, 2024, the Sichuan Provincial Department of Emergency Management provided an extensive update on the ongoing firefighting efforts to contain the Yuzhang Mountain Fire in the Garzi Prefecture of Sichuan Province. According to official reports, the fire outbreak occurred around 5 p.m. on March 15th in Baizi village, situated within the scenic Shela town, Yuzhang County. This picturesque region, known for its lush forests and rugged terrain, became the epicenter of a fierce battle against nature's fury. The initial ignition, shrouded in the tranquil ambience of the village, soon turned into a raging inferno, exacerbated by the topographical challenges and unfavorable weather conditions. By the afternoon of March 16, a sudden surge in wind power at the fire site catalyzed a rapid expansion, propelling the flames across the landscape with alarming speed and intensity. Responding to the escalating crisis, the Sichuan Provincial Emergency Management Department sprang into action, orchestrating a coordinated emergency response.
这坏苗嘞，就别讲是坏了就害死了。坏了，我们今天这把
Garzi Prefecture and Yuzhang County were immediately mobilized, with teams deployed to assess the situation and devise effective disposal strategies. A multidisciplinary working group was swiftly dispatched to the front line, tasked with providing on-site guidance and coordination to combat the advancing inferno.
那边还有一个。
Natural Resources, the Sichuan Provincial Forest Prevention and Control Office, activated a Level 4 response under the Forest and Grassland Fire Emergency Plan. This pivotal decision heralded the deployment of a formidable firefighting contingent, comprising 735 courageous personnel on site. Moreover, an additional 427 reinforcements were en route to bolster the frontline efforts, bolstered by the aerial prowess of 7 helicopters, engaged in strategic firefighting maneuvers from above. Despite the valiant efforts of the firefighting personnel and the strategic deployment of resources, eyewitness testimonies underscored the gravity of the situation. According to a female restaurant owner, who unwittingly bore witness to the unfolding calamity, the initial detection of the wildfire on the afternoon of the 16th was met with a sense of disbelief. The obscured view of the mountainous terrain initially concealed the imminent danger, only to be punctuated by the eerie silence of a sudden power outage. As the winds intensified, carrying the acrid scent of smoke and ash, visibility became increasingly obscured, rendering it difficult to discern the encroaching threat. With unwavering resolve, the restaurant owner recounted the harrowing ordeal of evacuating her establishment, amidst the backdrop of roaring flames and howling winds, symbolizing the relentless advance of nature's wrath. Against this tumultuous backdrop, the Yuzhang County Forest and Grassland Fire Prevention and Firefighting Headquarters issued a resolute declaration of an emergency response to combat the voracious wildfire. In a testament to collective solidarity, multiple forces were marshaled and organized, each contributing their expertise and resources to fortify the frontline defenses. As of the latest update, the evacuation of all individuals in the affected areas has been successfully executed, with no reported casualties. The firefighting endeavors persist with unwavering determination, guided by a steadfast commitment to containment and mitigation. Meanwhile, an exhaustive investigation into the root cause of the fire has been launched, underscoring the imperative of preventive measures and vigilance in safeguarding against future calamities.
Fire ravages the US state of California, with smoke and flames rising into the sky, creating a fire tornado. Satellite images shows the size of the blaze, which spans more than 50,000 hectares, making it the largest wildfire in California this year. A man has been arrested, accused of allegedly starting the blaze by pushing a burning cart into a gully. More than 1,000 firefighters are working to fight the flames, with helicopters and bulldozers used to cut fire lines in efforts to save homes. Across the border, authorities watch closely as more than 170 wildfires scorch the Canadian province of Alberta, more than 50 of which are out of control.
We've seen this week the effect that strong winds can have on the intensity and spread of a wildfire. We're expecting more of those winds in the province today, which will raise the fire danger for those areas particularly that didn't get much rain.
In the path of one of the blazes is the alpine town of Jasper, forcing the evacuation of the town's 5,000 full-time residents and 20,000 visitors. But seeking out emergency shelter has proved challenging, with some people travelling more than 400 kilometres only to be met with closed doors.
Kind of frustrated for sure by lack of communication, or the communication that we did get not being accurate, but I don't know, I'm just trying not to stress.
If I break down now, what will I do? I will just sit and cry and nothing's going to change, right?
Homes and businesses have been lost to a wildfire that people are calling a wall of flames. There is no denying that this is the worst nightmare for any community.
Jasper could be one of the most damaging fires in the area since a 2016 blaze which destroyed 10% of all structures.
We're seeing potentially 30 to 50% structural damage. To give you some idea, I mean, you've seen the images as I have. We don't know particularly which structures have been damaged and which ones have been destroyed.
Meanwhile, the community anxiously waits for when they can return home. Amanda Robson, ABC News.
Fires erupt over the weekend. 4 fires in 4 counties was threatening the Post fire. It's burned more than 15,000 acres and forced evacuations. Here right now is a look at what firefighters are facing. The early season fires broke out in LA, Ventura, San Bernardino, and Riverside counties. All these fires mean a lot of smoke drifting all across Southern California and, of course, impacting air quality. Welcome to the Fox 11 News at 5, simulcast on our sister station, Fox 11 Plus. I'm Christine Devine. And I'm Marla Tejas here for Alex Michelson. The Post fire is the most destructive of all the wildfires burning in Southern California right now. More than 15,000 acres are burning with containment in the single digits. Fox 11's Haley Winslow is live at the command post with the update. Haley?
Christine and Marla, the Post fire is now close to 16,000 acres, 8% contained, under a high wind warning, as well as a red flag warning that has now been extended through tomorrow evening because of these hot, dry, and windy conditions. The wind is the biggest concern and challenge for firefighters. Nearly 65-mile-per-hour gusts in the ridges and canyons, which is why this wildfire quickly became such a monster.
Get ready to evacuate.
Quiet wilderness disturbed by sounds of crackling flames, fire engines, and aircrew water drops as flames rip through northwest Los Angeles County in hot, dry, windy weather.
We haven't had a major fire in the last 2.5 years. There's a lot of rain, so there's a lot of fuel growth. There's enough time where a lot of that small scrub brush has been able to cure and dry out. So it's tinder and ignition for this fire.
From immense winter rain, explosive growth of tall brush, perfect conditions for the Post fire to spread like, well, wildfire.
It can ladder up, and then what it does is it makes a tougher fight for us because getting through that material and getting through all that brush is a little more challenging, a lot more work with the saws, the ground crews. It's just a harder fight.
A graveyard of now charred cars. The Post fire started here in Gorman Saturday and took off.
And it jumped the line and it just ripped down the canyon.
Roaring through this remote wildland, a good thing for lives and livelihoods, but without fire roads, a proven challenge to get crews in.
It's a hike in, and it's your buddy with the chainsaw and clearing that brush for you. It is a hard hike up in there.
Nearly 1,200 firefighters on the battleground, 114 engines, 11 dozers, and aircrew support from around the state, serving as a lifeline in this fight.
It's critical. Our air support really makes a difference and knocks some of that heat out so we can get those hand crews in a little bit deeper and closer.
So crews can get a better grip on this massive wildfire before it turns toward trouble in town.
We got our trailer, we got our truck, we packed. We'd be out of here in probably within an hour.
The big concern is if the wind shifts to the east towards the 5 freeway where people live. It does not look like that's going to be the case, thankfully, but the wind gusts are still very, very strong, and with the low relative humidity, especially with little recovery overnight and very hot conditions that dry things out real fast, it is really the perfect recipe for this wildfire. And as we know, this is only the beginning. This is very early for the wildfire season, so firefighters really want to drive home the point to make sure you have that 200 feet of defensible space around your house. That means no tree limbs around your home or on the roof, because oftentimes the fire will move really fast through your house, but the embers will get caught in a little branch, for example, and that's what will smolder and then catch your house on fire. Even if you are not there, it's obviously a huge concern for firefighters and their livelihoods as well. Reporting live here in Castaic, I'm Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News.
All right, Haley, thank you. We have more fires to talk about. CAL FIRE reports Crews are making progress on the Lisa fire burning east of Moreno Valley. The flames are burning in rough terrain that's inaccessible to those ground crews, so aerial water drops are being used to squelch the flames. This hour, it is 50% contained. 893 acres have burned.
Just 30% containment with the stubborn Hesperia fire. More than 11,000 acres have burned since this one erupted Saturday night. Residents in Arrowhead Equestrian Estates are under an evacuation warning.
Firefighters made quick work of the 3-alarm Max fire on the west side of Lancaster. Some ranch buildings, several RVs, and 500 acres of brush burned before firefighters halted those flames.
And as we mentioned just a moment ago, these fires are affecting the air quality throughout all of Southern California.
Meteorologist Jonathan Novak now tracking how long we could be feeling those effects. Jonathan?
Well, the air quality alert that's in effect, that's for the LA County mountains through tonight. And let me take you on a little tour of the fires that we're having and the post-fire in particular. I want to point out that there are evacuation warnings and now evacuation orders for portions of LA County. And the border here, as you can see, this red area, which is imminent danger, is west of the 5. On the west side of this is the county line. The north side is Gorman, and the south is Pyramid Lake. And then a warning would be imminent danger. Both are, of course, urging folks to evacuate those areas. The fire weather warning that's in effect for those areas, that continues until tomorrow at 6 p.m. But not only that, the National Weather Service has now expanded the red flag warning for the San Gabriel Mountains, and that goes as well until tomorrow at 6 p.m. The main exacerbating factor with these wildfires and with the wildfire danger that we're experiencing is the winds. The winds are exceptionally strong right now, upwards of about 60 miles per hour, especially down the 5 corridor and some of the higher elevations as well, up in Ventura and LA County in the mountains there. The high wind warning, that also goes through tomorrow, at least through the morning time. Also, don't want to forget the Santa Barbara County South Coast is also looking at the elevated risk of wildfires over the next 24 hours or so. You can see some of those gusts at 54 at Sandberg, and those winds, of course, coupled with the temperatures and the very dry air, that's what spells the fire danger. You can see the temperatures inland have been very warm, albeit a little bit cooler today. But guess what? Tomorrow, they will be warming back up once again. Details on those numbers coming up in the 7-day outlook in just a few minutes. We'll toss it back to you guys.
Jonathan, thanks so much.
unbearably hot start to the summer in many U.S. states has led to a large number of fires. In Oregon, on July 7th at 4 p.m., a fire named Salt Creek was reported. It erupted about 10 miles east of Eagle Point and was burning on private land and Bureau of Land Management, BLM, land.
I'll try to get those helicopters when they come back.
Within a few hours, the fire's size increased from several acres to hundreds of acres, fueled by hot, dry, and windy conditions. Level 1 evacuation, be ready, was announced in some areas north of Lake Creek and east of Brownsboro, approximately 9 miles east of Eagle Point and 19 miles north of Ashland. The fire danger level in southwest Oregon was raised to extreme at noon on Tuesday. As of July 11th, the Salt Creek fire was 16% contained and covered an area of 3,815 acres. About 700 firefighters, 19 engines, 9 bulldozers, and 11 water tenders were deployed to extinguish the fire. On July 4th, a fire broke out in the town of Mariposa in the Sierra Nevada, threatening to destroy this popular tourist hub and key gateway to Yosemite National Park. The fire was named the French Fire. The flames erupted in the evening on the northern outskirts of the town and quickly spread across the hills, heading towards the local hospital and school. This forced authorities to issue evacuation orders for about 1,000 residents. The fire cut off Highway 140, the main road to Yosemite. At the time, the park, located 37 miles east of Mariposa, was filled with tourists from around the world and remained open throughout the fire. some residents of Mariposa found themselves on the brink of losing their property. They decided to defend their homes by watering their yards with hoses and hoping for a change in the wind. Fortunately, help arrived in time, and firefighters saved the residents and their homes. By noon the next day, with temperatures reaching 107 degrees Fahrenheit, firefighters using bulldozers and helicopters managed to contain the fire, which had covered 908 acres, and localized it to 15%. As a result of the fire, at least 11 structures were damaged or destroyed. Several firefighters sustained minor injuries, but none required hospitalization. As of Sunday, the fire was 60% contained, and evacuation warnings and orders were lifted in residential areas. The popular highway leading to Yosemite National Park was also no longer affected by the wildfire and was reopened to traffic. Another major fire of the season in California, the Lake Fire, broke out in Santa Barbara County. It started on Friday, July 5th, around noon near Lake Zaca in the Los Padres National Forest, about 40 miles north of Santa Barbara. By the next evening, the fire was out of control. Strong winds and extreme heat contributed to the rapid spread of the fire. Evacuation orders were issued in Santa Barbara County, covering the neighborhood where Michael Jackson's former ranch is located. This fact initially drew attention to the Lake Fire. By Wednesday, the fire had grown to 34,000 acres. A statement from CAL FIRE reported that strong fire activity in the southeast of the burn area caused additional evacuations and increased the fire size. The Vista Fire started in the San Bernardino National Forest near Mount Baldy on Sunday, July 7th, in the morning. As a precaution, evacuation orders were issued for the Mount Baldy ski resort.
Oh boy, this is in Placerville, off Cedar Ravine. It is extremely thick in here. This is not good. We have a fire right in the middle of Placerville. I've heard on watch duty they've called an air attack. There it is. There's air attack. I see one.
The fire also led to the closure of hiking trails in the area. Firefighters are finding it difficult to create a containment line as the fire is raging on steep and rocky terrain. The situation is further complicated by triple-digit temperatures. By Wednesday, the fire had engulfed about 2,700 acres of forest with 0% containment.
You're blocking traffic,
July 10th, Governor Gavin Newsom noted the alarming increase in wildfires in California this year. There have already been 3,500 wildfires this season, 500 more than the previous year.
Came around the hill there, and it's probably doubled in size and definitely starting to chew in a little pocket of timber. Okay, I'll head to that lower one because I got the top side. I might be able to check spread. Does that make sense?
The fires have been more destructive, with the burned area increasing fivefold, reaching a total of 207,000 acres. This may seem counterintuitive, but the large amount of rainfall over the last 2 rainy seasons, which helped alleviate the state's drought, also contributed to the increase in fires. The rain spurred rapid growth of grass and shrubs, but the dangerous heat, with temperatures reaching up to 110 degrees and higher in some areas of the East Bay, Central Valley, Sierra Nevada, and Southern California, quickly dried out the landscape, creating vast amounts of fuel for the fire.
Looking at Grass Mountain here, you can see the fire has moved through most of this area, looking north on Figueroa Mountain here towards Grass Mountain. You can see
the heat also makes firefighting efforts more challenging. Imagine hiking through the most remote mountainous areas, carrying heavy equipment with smoke